There was no greater supporter of the Jewish people than Moshe Rabbeinu, than Moses. When they complained, he went to bat for them. They needed water after coming out of Egypt. They needed food. He spoke up for them. They worshipped the golden calf, and God wanted to eradicate them. He sacrificed his own life so that God forgive them. When they sinned with the spies, he spoke up for them. Whenever it was, but something happens in this week Torah portion that is very strange. What happens is that the Jewish people complain again. What do they complain? They complain about the manna that they have from heaven that they eat every day. They've had it now for about just over a year, and they're tired of the manna. Why? Because even though the manna could taste like every food that you want, it doesn't look like it. And eating, cuisine, is act not only of eating the food, but seeing it, smelling it, and so on. And here, it wasn't that. It didn't look like fish. It didn't look like meat, even though it could taste like it. So they complain about it. And here Moshe Rabbeinu comes, turns to God, and says, God, I've had it with them. I can't. Kill me. I can't deal with their problems anymore. Take me from here. Get someone else to deal with it. I can't deal with it anymore. And even when God says, you know what, I'm going to give them meat, Moshe says, give them meat. What are you going to give them? How are you going to give all these people meat and they're going to be happy? They're not going to be happy. You're going to give them all the fish of the sea. They're not going to be happy. And as the commentaries say, Rabbi Chaim HaKadosh explains, you're going to give them lamb, they'll want venison. If you give them that venison, they'll want chicken. They'll want bird. You'll give them bird, they'll want fish. And if you give them fish, they want all the fish, every single kind of seafood. They're never going to be happy. And therefore, just take my life from me. What happened here, different to everywhere else, that really affected Moshe in his support of the Jewish people? Now, another event happened now. As I said, they just left Sinai. They were here at Sinai for just over 11 months, and the Jews were happy to leave. They said, we might stay here, we might get some more Torah, might get some more mitzvahs. Enough. We're happy to leave. And that Moshe didn't take kindly to, because basically it showed that they weren't interested at that time in the highest spiritual pleasure that you can get, which is Torah. So there's an analogy given by Reb Nachman of Breslov, and he says the following. It used to be that his time, Hungarian wine was the best wine. And there's a certain region in Hungary that had the best possible wine, that the czars would send soldiers to guard the grapevines, because from there they made the best wines, and basically only the wealthiest, the czars, would have this wine. So one of the czar's ministers travels to this region to bring back wine for the czar, and he brings a simple helper with him. And on the way back to Russia, the simple helper asks the minister, could I please taste from this wine? I smell it. I was there with you. I just want to have a little bit. Just give me a half a cup of wine. So finally, as they reach their destination, he gives them half a cup of wine, and he tastes it. Ah, unbelievable. This is the best thing I've ever tasted. A number of years later, this guy walks into an inn. There's a bunch of wealthy people sitting around drinking wine, and one guy says, I have a bottle of Hungarian wine. I'd like to share with everyone. So he brings out a bottle of wine and shares with everyone. This guy asks, can I have some? So they give him some of the wine. He drinks it. He says, nah, this is not Hungarian wine. And they look at him and say, you simple fellow, how would you know? What are you, a connoisseur? How are you a connoisseur for wine when, you're a simple guy? You couldn't afford this kind of wine. And he says, once you've tasted Hungarian wine, you know it. And you know if what's true, what's real, and what's a fake. This is the analogy of Reb Nachman of Breslov. And what it relates to in our case is the Jewish people have a desire for pleasure. The greatest pleasure is Torah. And what we really want, what our souls are yearning for, is the pleasure of Torah. But here the Jewish people are running away from Torah. So they're looking for other pleasures, the leeks, the onions, the garlic, etc. Moshe Rabbeinu says they're never going to be satiated with that. You could give them all the meat, all the fish, you could give them everything in the world. They're not going to be happy. So Moshe is saying two things. First of all, what is really pleasurable for the Jew, what you should really have, is Torah. That's what's pleasure. That's what you're looking for. You think you're looking for leeks and onions? That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for Hungarian wine, Torah. That's what you're looking for. And once you have that, nothing else is going to satiate you. So Moshe says, this is a lost case. This is a lost cause. I'm never going to be able to get them happy. With whatever you give them, they're not going to be happy because that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for something that satiates their souls, but they don't want to look there. They don't want to look in Torah. They're going to look elsewhere, and elsewhere is not going to make them happy. So God, just take me from. What does this tell us? Jews are always looking for things to satisfy them. They get involved in all kinds of other issues and areas of other revolutions and so on. We're revolutionary. We want the revolution of Mashiach. We want Torah. That's what we want. But we look here and we look there. We think this is going to make us happy. That's going to make us happy. Nothing else is going to make us happy. The only thing that's going to satiate us is Torah. And what the idea is, what happens when these other interests come to us and say, oh, you want this, you want that? Put into your mind thoughts of Torah. Have Torah in your head. Have it as in your treasure chest of your mind. A chapter of Tanya, a chapter of Mishnah, some Torah ideas that when your mind wanders to areas that are not wholesome, move it to the area of Torah. Shabbos.